I am Dave. I married my wife Eve about 12 years ago, and since then we had 2 kids, Mark who's 7 and George who's 5. And well, I thought we had a perfect marriage. But then 2 weeks ago, as Eve was taking a shower, her phone got a notification. I decided to see what the notification was for. As I checked over her phone, I saw it was a text from a guy named Joe. The message read, "Hey, Eve can't wait to see you at noon, your husband is not home, right?" I was reasonably pissed at this message, but didn't want to bring it up yet since I wanted to gather more evidence. So, I went to my lawyer for some advice. He told me to buy some cameras to hide around the house. I thanked my lawyer, drove to Best Buy, and purchased 5 cameras. Now I waited 2 days to install the cameras since she was at home all day. And then when she was going to a spa appointment, I installed the cameras, one in the plants by the front door, one on top of the cabinet in the living room, one in my closet in my bedroom, and lastly one in the gap between the fridge and the cupboard. And when my wife came home, she made meatloaf for dinner. It tasted off to me, but I just cashed it up to being too disgusted at her for being with other men. So, for the rest of the week, I would go to work and check the cameras with the app on my tablet. And then earlier today, as I was checking the cameras, I saw a man at my front door. I thought to myself, bingo, and I started to record the screen with my phone. I saw my wife let in a man who I'd never seen before. She then asked this man, "You want some wine, Scott?" I was surprised by this because the man she labeled on her phone was named Joe. I guess there were more, I thought. After Joe said yes, my wife walked into the kitchen to grab some red wine. But where I noticed something that I honestly am still a little shocked by, I saw her start the oven and put some pills, don't know what kind, into the wine. At that moment, I knew something more than just an affair was about to happen. Well, after Scott drank the wine, he started to go numb and slumped down to the floor. And I wish that was the worst of it, because she then walked into the kitchen and grabbed a butcher knife. Scott must have been confused because he asked her in a distressed tone, "Why do you have that fucking knife?" She did not answer him. Instead, she proceeded to cut off both his arms and legs as he screamed out in drunken pain. At that moment, I believe I gauged for real. But that wasn't the worst thing she did to him. My wife picked Scott up and put him in the oven and put him in there. Even though the screaming was muffled by the oven door, I could still hear his painful animalistic screams as if they were right next to me. After a few moments that felt like eternity, I regained my senses and stopped recording. I then ran out of the office holding my tablet and sped off to the police station. But I was only a mile away when I heard my wife's voice coming from the tablet. She said, "Dave, are you there?" I froze. I stopped in the middle of the road and looked at the screen. I saw Eve holding a cardboard sign saying, "I want to talk." I saw my kids tied up on the coach.